If you missed last night, I want you to relive one of the most absurd endings to
Unless
a game.
you're a Philly fan.
I mean, no, absurd can go either way, right? I mean, really, honestly, early in that game, you were either going to watch a forgettable win or an amazing comeback. The latter happened. Check it out.
Ninth inning, Mets down 7-1.
Phillies looking to wrap up their 12th win of the season, trying to snap this 3-game losing streak.
Forget that. Philly lead to 7-3. Down hits one back to the pitcher. The throw not in time.
So now the Mets are down to their final out.
He rips one down the line. It's an RBI double for J.D. Davis. 7-5. Second and third and 2 out. Base hit in his corner. Here's Jankowski. The Mets have tied it. Deep left center. Near the wall. It's off the base. Here's Nimmo around third. The Mets take the lead. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable for any team, but made even more dramatic by the fact that teams don't like each other and they're in the same division. The Mets trailed 7-1 going into the ninth. First team to overcome a 6-run deficit or more since 2019. That was Washington. The Mets' third win ever when trailing by 6 or more in the ninth or later. They hadn't done it since '97. And the Phillies' first loss when leading by 6 or more since 1994. All right, take that all in. A win is a win. However, not every loss is just a loss. How do you read what went down for Philadelphia?
So we were joking before when we came on about the idea of, I said the Mets might be looking for bullpen. What about Boston? Philadelphia, this is still a problem. They've been trying to solve this for multiple years. As yesterday shows, this is the team that has gone the longest in the National League without making the playoffs, the Philadelphia Phillies, in part because they can't get their bullpen right. Last night showed they still don't have their bullpen right. There's questions about their defense. There's question about their depth. And they're playing in a division now where the Mets are getting a bigger lead. Now, there's 6 playoff teams. You're just trying to get in. But the Mets are starting to open up some distance on everybody in the division.
Paul, I tell you, if you're the Mets, what this does for you, you begin, as Joel knows, this wave of confidence and belief that you can overcome anything. They've done this now twice.
Yeah.
They did it with the Cardinals, and this comeback last night is incredible. If you watch the replay of this, there are so many middle pitches and that the Philadelphia's relievers left right in the middle of the plate. Now, I mean, you would just think Lady Luck, somebody would square one of those up and hit it at somebody. But that did not happen. This is really a demoralizing loss for the Phillies. I'm glad they've got a rain out tonight. They kind of a chance to regroup. But, they need a good start tomorrow to be able to, a good start from their starting pitcher tomorrow to put this behind them. That's a tough loss, guys. I can tell you. That one doesn't, those are the kind of losses from a GM perspective that literally you don't sleep all night and you just don't wash those off very easily.
Can I tell you something I wish we do here at the network also? What we need to do is put that on the loop because what will come up again, it's come up early this season, came up a lot with Gabe Kapler about the idea of the unwritten rules, when you should stop scoring, stop trying to, push the game. I would even say once they get Corey Knebel up warming, it's a minor victory for the Mets and a minor loss for the Phillies, and obviously coming all the way back. To me, never stop trying to score. It's a serial game. Like, this does happen occasionally, and more important, because you got to play tomorrow. Every relief pitcher you use today or warm up today affects tomorrow. Now, it got rained out tomorrow. So I think this is also an example of you manage your team, I'm going to manage my team. And on my team, I'm never going to stop trying to score.
Yeah, the other thing to me, there's the psyche of your closer. Up and down, confidence is such a big part of bullpen. Bullpens, to me, are connected like a chain link fence. You have one problem with one of the links, it affects the rest of the chain. And I don't like this loss from my closer either. He probably mentally wasn't prepared to pitch. Now think about it. It's a 7-1 game. You're putting in the back end of your bullpen because you're just trying to get 3 outs. And anybody at the major league level should be able to do that, or you shouldn't be at the major league level. So mentally, he's probably not as locked in adrenaline-wise and focused as Matty as you would think. These are human beings. And so now he rushes to get ready. And now he's in a game. He didn't look right to me. His command of his fastball last night, he just made too many mistakes in the middle of the plate. And, so far this year, he hasn't done that a whole lot. So I don't like the carryover effect this could have on my closer.
Okay, I'm going to flip it around, though. I'm going to give you this. Edwin Diaz didn't think he was getting into the game. He looked pretty darn good.
Okay, let me tell you. Let me play counter argument to that. As soon as Lindor hit the home run, he begins to get a little antsy. As soon as Canna hits the ball off the leg, he's locked in. Because now he knows he's in the middle of an opportunity to get up and win a game. There's no way Knebel going into that game, that ninth inning at all, he probably started even when Lindor hit the home run, his adrenaline level was 0. The win probability when he gave up the home run to Lindor was still only 1.3%. When Smith struck out, the win probability was 3.2%. So as a closer, they're adrenaline junkies. And I just don't think Knebel was probably in the right frame of mind coming in that game.
Okay, so look, you're all over the Mets. You're in New York. You're in and out of that clubhouse. It's a two-parter. One, how do they feel about that, this team, this actual team? And two, would last year's team be able to do what they did?
Yeah, I think every team, we saw the last time there were 6 runs in the 9th inning kind of thing. It's a long time. But even the worst team has dramatic victories during the season, and even the best team has traumatic losses during the season. So I don't put a lot into it beyond that. But I think you made a point. They already had one of these against the Cardinals. Then they had this one. By the way, in between, they threw a no-hitter to also.
Yeah, good point.
And the team feels, and I do think some of this is the Buck Showalter influence. First of all, they added a lot of talent this offseason. But one of the stories, especially over the last 4 years, is the Mets had a lot of talent. They were poorly managed in every way, from the top of the organization into the dugout. That's not the case this season. And so there's this feeling of confidence. There's also not this feeling of, what is that guy doing? Like, with the chatter on the bench where it's like, no, they feel they have an advantage there, and they're locked in, and they're putting some money in the bank. I would keep in mind that at this time last year, they were in first place and the Braves were in third place, under 500. And over the long season, it didn't play out that way. But right now, this is a much better Met team than over the last few years.
Yeah, Joe, the other thing I think they did this winter, they added talent, but they added a high level of baseball awareness with those talent. Those guys like Canna, I mean,
I agree.
He knows how to hit. He works the strike zone exceptionally well. Marte uses the entire field. Escobar is a professional hitter. So they didn't just add talent. I think they added some guys that really understand the nuances of how to play the game.